Well, folks, here we are with my friend from, I think you're from Texas, you said, right?
Yes.
He's Dustin Bond. We've never done a video together before, but he's been communicating with me for some time, and he requested that he make a video. And so we're going to let him talk about spirit. Say it again. Say your topic.
First thing popped to mind was political spirituality.
Okay, so political spirituality is going to be the topic, and I'm going to let you go away, and I might interrupt you from time to time to add something or question you. So go ahead.
Sounds good. Well, I've been watching your channel for, oh man, I don't want to get it wrong, maybe 4 years, maybe a little bit more, for quite a while.
Well, I'm in my 6th year.
Wow. Yeah. See, I wasn't there from the beginning. When I started listening, I don't think Aristo had been doing videos with you yet. I think it was just Peter Van Runt. So that was what I was first introduced to. And then I was introduced to Aristo in your videos, and they were just, all of them, even Peter's, all of them were amazing. And so I've kept up with you for quite some time now. I know your pretty much entire backstory. I've watched every single video you've ever made, minus maybe 8 of them that I know of I haven't watched. So, and then, you know,
and considering there's over 2,200, that's saying quite a bit.
Yes. So I remember, now this was years ago. It was you and Mr. Bill Ballard, who I have a ton of respect for, by the way, especially as of late, because he has taken kind of a little bit of a more political approach. He has a say in things now.
Oh, that's good. I haven't communicated with him in probably a year or two, at least a year or two.
Yeah, it probably has been a while. Probably my greatest critique, which I did not have at the time, but looking back on it now, is that I really don't think it should have been politics versus spirituality. I think the two really do go hand in hand in a lot of ways. I'd like to kind of help make that happen. I've spent probably the past 9 or 10 years calling them Donkafins, purple, because there's no such thing as left or right. There is no Republican and Democrat, kind of like the Jesse Ventura method, Democrats and Republicans, Republicans and Democrats, Bloods and Crips. It's all gang mentality. Not right. And then there's a different way of looking at that, which is, well, if you're spiritual, you cannot be political. Well,
I know I've lost a lot of friends over that one.
I'm kind of proof that that's not the case. So when I get done listening to 3 hours of Infowars.com, which I also do every day that I can when I'm not working, it's straight to YouTube to Paradox Man 316 for my daily dose of, your brand of spirituality, which your topics aren't always spirituality. Sometimes it's your day-to-day life, family problems, stuff you're going through with your house, you getting a new place next week. I look forward to hearing about that. That's going to be awesome. So let's get into some meat and potatoes here. I remember whenever I first started listening to Infowars, okay? I had been listening to the Galactic Federation of Light videos, which means I was into spirituality way before politics. When I jumped into politics, because I watched the movie Endgame, which was by Alex Jones, and it woke me up to the New World Order, I thought to myself, man, I am in my 20s. I'm never going to understand all this political mess. But I listened every day. I paid attention to learn as much as I could, and I got more and more of it. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It brought me to a great place of understanding. But from a spiritual stance, I had the fortitude, So I guess that probably helped it not be so difficult to understand. I understood that, that there are good elements in government and there are bad elements. Obviously, nobody is in favor of a police state, nobody wants that. We don't want intrusive executive orders that manipulates and changes our way of life. For most of the time that we've known a lot of movements and actions of government, it has not been in our favor.
No kidding.
Yeah. Rather, it's very pervasive. What you can ingest, digest, how you can live your life. If you can even put up a windmill on your own yard, collect rainwater. Government's not been our friend, you know. And then, okay, now so let's switch to the other side. Let's go with spirituality. What have I learned before I even met or knew about Paradox Man 3016? A lot of the videos that I very religiously kept up with the Galactic Federation of Light, probably, I tried to rehearse this earlier today, probably from 2008 or 2009, probably in between, to about 2011, late in that year. I would watch, there would be sometimes on average 2 to maybe 4 or 5 Galactic Federation of Light videos that would be released per day. I would watch all of them, even the 30-minute long ones. I would watch all of them. I absorbed as much as I could. And about the end of 2011 or so is when I kind of started to make my break with it, because it was kind of like, okay, look, there's either InfoWars or there's spirituality. This was my way of thinking back then. So I picked InfoWars. Well, it didn't take me long to realize, well, plus watching your videos, it's a both and kind of thing. It's neither is at war with the other or needs to be at war with the other. There needs to be a blending. And
the only way out is a blending. As long as we keep it a confrontational thing, there is not going to be, there's no peace in confrontation.
Yeah, it's kind of like the protesters, no justice, no peace. Well, there's not going to be any peace if the two are at war. I brought these things together in myself, and I'm not at war anymore. I can jump back and forth, spirituality to political ideologies, which I would say I'm probably a classical liberal. Property rights, basically overall all human rights that are inherent to us, that no constitution exactly needs to point out, should point out, but it doesn't exactly need to. We all inherently know these things. You have a right to defend yourself, to property, to not be searched. We can apply these things spiritually. One of the biggest advantages I would like the greater spiritual community to adopt as fast as possible would be like the non-aggression principle. And I actually have my own personal take on that. It would be peacefully do no harm, aggressively take no shit. You have a right to defend yourself. Like we see these protesters right now that are protesting. The machine is off. Donald Trump. Now,
many of them are paid. They're people that don't have jobs, and so somebody's come and offers them money to protest. And I think a lot of it's that. And I don't think it's all that, but there's a lot of that that's going on.
Oh, yes. There are a ton of shipped in or bust in George Soros people, yeah. But then we see like at the UC Berkeley, and this, I was learning about this today. Made me cry, actually. Made me mad, made me cry, made me put my anonymous picture back up instead of my own picture. So I'm going to be carrying the anonymous brand from now on again. I didn't want to, but I'm going to. They were all dressed in black. Now, this is the part where you're supposed to say that they're anarchists. Well, I happen to know what anarchy means, and those are not anarchists, okay? An anarchist is two parents at home collecting rainwater, teaching their children, homeschooling their children, planting a garden. That's an anarchist, okay? A person dressed in black hitting people with a flagpole,
That's a terrorist.
That's a terrorist. You nailed it. I was going to say that. They're a terrorist. They're not even a rioter. A rioter sets something on fire and breaks stuff. A terrorist harms people. They're harming people. So.
I believe a lot of those people are also paid shills, and their intent is to harm people.
Yes.
You know, they work for the government. They're on the government payroll or the Illuminati payroll or however you want to look at it.
Yeah, they're up to no good. So what helped me to fuse these two things together. See, I had the mentality, and this is where probably a lot of viewers may have, you know, the same problems I encountered. I got to the info war and I was like, I'm never going to be able to keep up with you. Like, there's so much to politics. I'll never understand it. It's going to take too long. It's going to take years. I don't have that kind of patience anyway. Well, I mean, which I'm pretty sure that was probably true at first, but it was a day-by-day thing. I just, you know, in the beginning, I kept up with the Galactic Federation of Light videos. I tried to work on myself, on the inside, to better myself, to fix my heart, to fix my emotions, my chakras, to properly receive downloads, all at the same time, okay, all at the same time, while listening to Alex Jones on the radio show and paying attention to what's going on in the world, like this person's up to this and this person's doing that, and it was frustrating. It got to a point, like, you know, like I said, where I had to choose one or the other, and it was only later on that I was evolved and developed enough where I didn't, you know, I realized I don't have to choose between the two. They can coexist.
Integrate the opposites.
Yes, yes. I did a lot of work on myself in the divine feminine, the divine masculine. I'm in touch with myself on very, very deep level. I would have to say maybe one of the deepest levels that I have ever integrated myself. I was watching one of your videos, and I cannot quote exactly which one it would have been, okay? Back then, they were trying to steal your home, so there were videos where you were very emotional about what was taking place. So it pissed me off. It pissed me off. And so I went into days and days long meditations, listening to the same song. I had my earphones in, and I was listening to the same song every day, meditating over and over as hard as I could.
What was the song? Do you remember?
Yes, I do, actually. It was, well, hang on, give me a second now that you say that.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but maybe I just did.
Damien and Gong Marley. Make It Burn Them. That was the name. Well, and it's not actually spelled like that. You gotta go a little bit slang. It's called Make It Burn Dim, D-E-M. Oh. And I would listen to that song every day. And I had downloaded the music video. It shows this Indian. Okay, well, it's politically correct to say Native American. I'm gonna say Indian. It was this Indian kid getting off the bus, and he goes up to his either his father or his grandfather, you know, and he kind of kisses him on the head and walks inside. And then he goes through the house, goes out the back door, takes his shirt off, and then starts going in a circle around a sand pit to a rain dance. While this is happening, this cop, probably a police chief or something, and his 3 officers are making people get out of their homes, pack their stuff, pack their boxes, kind of like what happened to you. Make them pack their boxes and stuff and get out because they were all being foreclosed upon. So this kid's doing this rain dance in his backyard, and you see these 2 little, you know, much younger neighbor kids are kind of just looking at him, you know, kind of like, what's going on here? Well, so he does the rain dance. It starts raining, and then right as they go up to the kids, either his father or his grandfather, he's just standing there in the road in front of his house, and he's got like some kind of rifle weapon. He's just holding it at his side, and the police officer walks up to him, and it starts raining as he was reaching for his gun, and then so he backs off and leaves because it's raining. So then he teaches him, he puts makeup on his face, puts a headdress thing on him, and then teaches him defensive magic. No, you know, or I mean offensive defensive magic. So that's what I was trying to go for. I was going for offensive defensive magic to back these bastards off from stealing your home. That was whenever the feeling came upon me where I had summoned angels to protect you, to protect your home, to keep them away. That was whenever a lot of things started getting serious. This is whenever I started to begin fighting in what I like to call the timeline wars, which I participate in to this day regularly, consciously, unconsciously. Sometimes I'm asleep when it takes place. Sometimes it's in the middle of the day. It could happen right now. It's whenever the engagements occur, I guess. And while all this is happening, and I'm doing all of this, I'm still exposing political evil every day. The two are hand in hand with me, and I try to explain this a lot to a lot of New Agers. I know because of Mark Passio podcasts that I've looked into. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry.
It's fine.
I actually know the kind of spirituality that they subscribe to, which I used to subscribe to as well. And it really does promote you had a video about this the other day, where they're basically passive, I forgot what you called it, neutrality.
Right.
Neutrality. I am not a friend of neutrality. Okay. The future is going to be shaped by people who don't sit on the fence. The future requires you not to be neutral.
I agree, but there's a lot of people that in my spiritual community that don't agree.
Yes, and I do understand why. Like I said, I used to subscribe to that. I was that guy. It got so bad, like I said, again, it got so bad that I felt that I had to choose one or the other. It was only whenever I, just kept going with it that I realized I don't have to choose. I'm both and. And you helped teach me that. I got that from you. I didn't get that from the Galactic Federation of Light. I got that from Ron Van Dyke and Aristo and Peter Van Runt. That's who I got that from.
What happened to the young Indian that was doing the rain dance? I know it started raining, but what was the interaction with the quote police?
Well, let's see. After it started raining, it shows the police chief, I'm guessing is what he is, and some businessman bigwig with a sheet of paper that had the blueprints. And apparently, they were building something. It shows them get into the vehicle, or what implies them getting into the vehicle and leaving. So then he takes the young child into the living room, and he puts red paint on his face, gives him like this mohawk headdress thing, and the kid goes out back. And let me back up here to kind of demonstrate what he does. He goes into his backyard, and he basically does this right here. He puts his arms out, and you see this gold dragon thing come out of him and spiral around and around and around. And then it comes at him, and it just looks at him. So, and then it leaves off from there.
Now, Hillary Watt on your shirt. I'm sorry, but there's got to be more to it. Oh, for prison. Yeah, I agree.
Hillary for prison. So then it goes around. It shows the police chief walking. He opens the fence, goes around the back of the house. Oddly enough, it's like right next to a smart meter, right next to his head. And he looks in the backyard, and he sees this kid. And the spiral is gone, but the head of this like weird looking, kind of like a symbolic dragon looking thing was like in front of him. And this cop had already had, or the chief had already had his hand on the pistol. And this thing that's in front of this kid just rushes at him. And then the video ends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a story.
Yeah, it was I very much needed it at the time. I still listen to it. I was listening to it earlier. I was watching it 30 minutes ago. I still use that video. It's very helpful to me.
Yeah, we'll have to put a link of it in one of the comments so that people on YouTube and Facebook can view it if they choose to.
Yeah. How much time are we in right now?
You know, I forgot to start the timer. I think we went about five or 6 minutes into it. It shows we have 18 minutes left, but I started it 5 minutes, maybe, or 5 or 6 minutes late.
Yeah. Okay.
Thought I clicked it, but I forgot.
Okay. Well, I'll begin.
You've got time. I mean, you're good. You've got at least 15 more minutes safely.
Okay. Okay. So let's now. I've covered some spirituality, some spiritual sides of it, and all that. Where I come from, what I've gained from it, what I still use to this day that helps me greatly. But for all intents and purposes, I really do owe to you and Aristo and Peter. Y'all have helped me grow enormously. I was already well on my path before even meeting you, but you fellas have helped fine tune a lot in me that defines who I am. And so let's look at this from the political point of view. I was the guy on Facebook that would put up a picture of an elephant on one end and a donkey on the other, and it was purple, with some kind of message like "Don't be deceived" or "They're the same thing." The typical average thing that a left rider who knows that it's there's no difference would say. With the last election, which was between Obama and who was it that ran against him? Was that John McCain?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I haven't voted since Ron Paul ran.
Oh, I know,
that
right?
was the last time I voted for anybody, and I didn't vote for it in either of the Obama elections.
Yeah, I unfortunately did. Last time around, I voted for third party. I voted for Gary Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Is he the one from New Mexico?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, my son voted for him, and one of his friends in the band also voted for Gary Johnson then.
Yeah, I was a total hardcore Ron Paul fan. I wanted to see Ron Paul lead our country, to a brighter future. That obviously was never going to be allowed to happen. When I went to fill out the voting form, Ron Paul's name wasn't even on the ballot. But Gary Johnson's was, so I went ahead and filled that out just to say I'd done it. This last time, or I know, the point I was going to get to was there was no animosity like what we see now. Last election cycle, people were not pulling their hair out, going insane. Last time there were probably some tensions, but it was just an election. This time, what we have seen in what we saw in 2016, that was insane. And if we look around the world, at the world around us now, it's even more insane. They're still losing their mind and pulling their hair out. Now, I remember Obama winning, knowing he was dangerous, but I wasn't pulling my hair out.
Well, the first time I actually was rooting for Obama when he first came in, not the second term, but the first term. I was wanting the best, even though I didn't believe him. I was saying, well, because he was saying a lot of good things, and I actually talked to people that had one-on-ones with him when he was in this area in Florida.
Yeah.
And they were just sold on him, and what a wonderful man he was, how kind. And
well, he is a wonderful speaker. I mean, you can pull up one of his videos, maybe one of his better ones. The man's an excellent speaker. He, most of the time he uses a teleprompter, but the guy he'll fool you if if you're not watching out, if you're not paying attention, and if you don't know what's going on because you're not politically active, he'll fool you 6 ways from Sunday. Now, so with this 2016 election and the way people have been just freaking out, I don't understand. Well, no, that's the problem. I do understand. One of my last article that I wrote for my blog was basically, in a nutshell, there is a demonic spell, basically, that's being lifted from us, and that's my theory as to why people are behaving like they're satanic former controllers, or they're demonic satanic former controllers. They're behaving just like them. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was the craziest thing I'd ever saw. It was some weird protester. Their face looked like it had like some kind of white wrapping around it. He had a flute in his mouth, and he's sitting there banging a chain with a baby doll attached to it, blowing on the flute, walking in circles. It was mental. It was insane.
Well, I've seen some pretty bad ones, but I don't remember that one specifically.
Oh man, it's disturbing. It's like, what am I watching? But yeah, these people are losing their minds, and in this, they're harming people. I watched a video earlier today that made me cry. You see this blonde hair, obviously she's a little bit attractive, skinny lady, and the side of her face is red, and she's crying, and she's holding on to this barricade, and this crowd of people wearing all black just drag her into the crowd. And God knows what happens to her. They beat the crap out of her. What I heard from the radio show on Alex Jones is that she was like really injured and in the hospital. I don't know. I mean, I was looking up earlier, if there was any follow-ups, what happened to her. There was another guy, his face was covered in blood. They're hurting.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence, and it's, it's very sad. I mean, and they are the people that are, again, I think they're being paid for by the Illuminati, the government element that's rogue, and it's been rogue for over 100 years.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the WikiLeaks emails and stuff, we know, and plus Project Veritas, we know that they do ship around, paid protesters who bird dog, which bird dogging means you're trying to agitate, your opposition to get them to become violent. But I think they actually may have just abandoned that altogether, because now they're the ones getting violent. And these people, a lot of them might even be spiritual, but they know nothing about politics. Nothing. They don't know basic things, such as the KKK were Democrats. There's a lot of people that don't know that. A lot. It kind of surprises me how many people don't know that. When it comes to the political arena or the geopolitical, they have avoided it altogether, because they, like myself, saw it as 100%, fruitless, a waste of time, not worth looking into, knowing about. And so, because they have not educated themselves, even just slightly, they are clueless, and they are angry. And these two, they don't mix well. That's like drinking a 6-pack of beer and then downloading some vodka. Very bad idea. You don't do that.
Yeah, well, I don't.
So I was able to mix and to blend my own personal spirituality with my understanding of the world around me and the political aspects of it. It's worked out kind of quite well. I keep up with both respectively. I interact with people, whether it's on Facebook. Sometimes I'll pick out an individual who I think might need help. I'll personal message them, or give them pointers. I've turned to Aristo before, like, Aristo, man, I'm losing it. I'm feeling so much freaking pain. There's so much pain, and I've had to have him talk me, calm me down before. And thank God he is a very good friend. And
he's a wonderful man, and so is Peter Van Runt.
Oh, Peter.
I got to meet Peter Van Runt face to face, of course, when I went to Australia last year. I haven't had much contact with him since I've gotten back. He says he doesn't spend much time online. Although
I believe that.
I do see him comment on different things from time to time.
Yeah, very much time to time, though. I don't really see much more from him. Not like a.
Yeah, he was really burned by Swiss Indo. I mean, he was one of the kingpins in the Australian delegation, and in fact, he was the reason that I got into that group. And there's still people pushing that and saying it's the real thing, but.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah.
That's like the Red Dragon ambassador. I tell you what, I have choice words on that subject, but if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. So
Okay.
I'm not at all.
Yeah, I got hurt there. I really felt that he was my friend, but even when I had the rug pulled out from under me when I was in Australia and I reached out to him for help, there was no help coming. In fact, he was hoping that I'd get arrested in Australia. I mean, unbelievable.
I don't think any of us saw that coming, but man, that was wrong. That was very wrong. But I guess as we wrap this up, I just really want to wish you the absolute best of luck with your new place that you'll be hopefully getting next week. I know it's been rough on your son. It's been rough on you. Even before that, it was rough on you because with your son-in-law and your daughter and their children living with you when you did have your house. So it won't be a house that you're having. It'll be an
apartment. And a very small one, you know. It's I go from a 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment, and it is probably maybe 25% the size. I'm guessing. I don't know the square footage of the apartment, but I don't think it's huge. But
I wish you the best in that endeavor. I hope it works out well. I know you mentioned that I don't know if I should bring this up or not, but you mentioned parking might be a problem. I hope that.
Oh yeah, they don't. There's 15 people on the waiting list to get a parking space inside the parking lot of the building, which means I've got to find a place on the street every time.
Yeah, so I know that's going to be a freaking fiasco and a half. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that works out and is, you know, comfortably doable. I hope that your readers take a lot from this. I don't want you to think, I know I mentioned Alex Jones a whole lot, InfoWars a whole lot, but it's not just that. I mean, in the overall political arena, it's many, many, many different outlets. When it comes to the spiritual arena, it's not just Ron Van Dyke. It's my own blend. It's others. It's like anyone who's just a regular Facebook spiritual person, to Laura Eisenhower, to David Icke, Mark Passio. I mean, you name it.
I've listened to all of them.
Yes. It's something because I believe ever since I perfected, you know, the both and mentality from you, I pull from everything. I never throw the baby out with the bathwater. I never do that.
That's a lot of wisdom there. I do think we can wrap it up. It's showing 5.5 minutes, so I think it's somewhere around 30 minutes long. I mean, I apologize for not turning on the timer when we began.
No,
I did, but then I looked and it wasn't going. So that's happened to me on my own videos too sometimes, where I thought I started it. I might have double-clicked, and if I double-click, it'll go 1 second and then reset on the second click.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much, Dustin. And I'm going to be, as I said, once I get in my own place, I'm going to start doing more guest videos as I used to do, maybe do at least a couple a week. You know, we'll see with different people. So I appreciate you taking the time to make this video, and it'll air again about 24 hours from now. It'll go up live. So.
Well, I appreciate your videos, and it's almost surreal, actually. Like I'm gonna be on a Ron Van Dyke video. Like I've been watching these things for years.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and God bless you, and we'll talk again soon.
God bless you.
Namaste.
Namaste.